All right, everybody, and welcome back. Sin, how about this? A little bit of a delayed start compared to what we thought with the two of us being back with ECL Elite Division coverage, but here we are. And no disrespect to that first matchup, but it's certainly because I could not miss this. I mean, this next matchup might just be the perfect way to start off a brand new season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Frölunda, SAWO, a lot on the table. Obviously, Frölunda just having Teemu on their team. Well, now he's playing for SAWO, and I mean, we saw in your pregame, your preseason kind of video there, the changes that Frölunda have made. I'm very excited to see how Flyer Kungen works on this Frölunda team. I was definitely seeing his loss on that Havu game, and I mean, someone's loss is going to be your gain here. So I'm very excited to see how Frölunda works.
It's a new era, to say the least, here within the ECL Elite Division. Sin alluded towards it. That's what makes this really the prime time matchup to focus on here for this opening broadcast of this season. So we get you guys a look here at the lineups that we have here today for this, again, second matchup of this doubleheader to kick off this new season. Again, for Frölunda, the massive change. The front three now. Playmaker Eki moving from right wing to center to make space for the former Havu Gaming captain in Flyer Kungen. Sin, how surreal is it just to see that front three as a lineup together? I still just can't comprehend it.
It's like when a bunch of your favorite musicians get together and form a super band. I mean, we saw Eki and Flyer Kungen matched up against each other for so long. To see them on the same team here now, it's like, two mainstay superstars of the ECL Elite getting to play together. It's going to be great to see them.
And again, on defense for Frölunda, the former center in Potzloff drops back. Sim, we've seen forwards drop back before, so very intrigued to see how he does. He'll be playing alongside Loimu, which, if you want to talk about a safety blanket for someone who's getting used to, again, playing defense at the highest level, probably no one better to have next to you than Loimu. And of course, backing them up is Kape between the pipes for Frölunda, arguably the best goaltender in Elite Division history. On the flip side, though, I mean, you mentioned Teemu, who's on defense, but this is a SAWO team that finished in second place in the winter season that we had. So heading into the spring season, Sin, a lot of expectations, and it is essentially the same lineup with the exception of Teemu. It is Yerska, Moja, and Vatu. Of course, Yerska winning Rookie of the Year last season. Captain Tombu with Teemu, and then Nike between the pipes, the goaltender of the year last year. So a lot of expectations for SAWO, especially adding Teemu. It really, reinstates their intentions for this spring season.
Yeah, definitely. They kind of seemingly came out of nowhere last season and shook the world, and here they're doubling down on that. They didn't get any weaker. You can definitely argue they got stronger, and with Nike between the pipes, as you mentioned, best goaltender. I think he was in the running, may have even won the MVP of the season as well for his team. He was just an absolute wall. It'll be, definitely hard to duplicate that or even get better at that. But if he just, we know he's a solid goaltender. If he could do that, and if SAWO has improved in the way that we think they have, they could be a definite threat. But seeding's one thing. They got to be able to succeed in the playoffs, which last year they simply did not.
Sin mentioning the playoffs, of course, this is just the second matchup that we have this season. So in terms of the standings right now, well, if you saw the first two games of this new season, you'll know what the standings happen to look like. But of course, it is also important, since we always talk about that left-hand side of the bracket is where you want to be. The top 8 teams make the playoffs. And then, of course, as we see every year through this 30-game season, so much plays out in those potential relegation spots as well. Again, you look at some of the guys jumping up this year, stargazing, getting promoted, of course, as well as Yippee Vaskala back in the Elite Division. Obviously, I said it as much in the preview, and I'm sure you reiterated it as well throughout the beginning stages of this particular broadcast, but just the expectations for this season are on a whole different level.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we always like to talk about narratives and stories, and perhaps no greater one that could be had here for Yippee Vaskala. The fall from grace, and now a second chance getting back into the ECL Elite here, looking to, make their presence known and work their way back into the playoffs and see if they could deal with some of those previous demons that they had fought against and lost.
Absolutely. So with that, let's go back to our individual matchups here as we always do. We like to look at the head-to-head between these teams, and we do start off with the center battle. And obviously, again, since the numbers won't be here, again, the season is just starting. But I am so intrigued to see what Eki does at center. You're talking about not only one of the best sixes players in the world, but one of the best 1v1 players in the world. So it's not as if it's going to be a concern about him winning faceoffs, but his style in our winter season was so net front presence heavy that you would think this would just be a natural fit for him to move to the middle.
Absolutely. And we saw in games 4 and 5 of the winter finals, I think for both of them, he slid over to the center spot and Potzloff had gone onto that right wing spot. So it's almost like there's something that they kind of had, in their back pockets that they brought out when they were down 3-1. They won a game and unfortunately lost the next one there. But yeah, Eki obviously not going to be out of place in that middle here. And Moshe, great center as he is now, but I think everyone has got to be a bit concerned in the center side of like, okay, well, Eki is now playing center. So a whole, one of the best NHL players in the world. Now you got to match up against him if you're a center.
And then again, that incredibly interesting winger matchup that we have. And a reminder to everybody, we are just a few moments away from puck drop. 2 games today, the regular season matchup between Frölunda and SAWO. Both teams, of course, in looking to get back to where they were last year. Obviously, Frölunda wanting to get to the finals. They've lost the previous 2 finals to our defending champions in H-Reds. And again, SAWO trying to replicate what they did last year. Big part of the reason as to why SAWO did what they did again, Jurska and Vatu, it's an incredible dynamic duo that they have for SAWO, but then the other side, it's just crazy that we are seeing Playmaker and Flyer Kungan on the same wing. I cannot get over it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, this is going to take a while to get used to. We've been so used to seeing Playmaker Eki. It's been Playmaker Eki for season after season after season. And now Playmaker and Flyer Kungan. And, again, I've always been a massive, massive fan of Flyer Kungan and what he brings to the table as a forechecking presence. Definitely one of the better ones. And you think about losing Eki on that right wing side as he shifts to the middle. I'm like, man, you're losing that guy who can cover for defense. He's so good in all fronts. Well, you're kind of getting that in a lot of ways with Flyer Kungang as well. So definitely a lot to look forward to. But yeah, you said it. Jurska and Vatu were just menaces last season. They were so good at forcing those turnovers off defensemen, creating quick breaks back the other way. So often we'd see them, kind of, with that quick strike ability and counterattacks, just completely, catching teams off guard. And then with Nike on the back end, you don't mind getting aggressive on the rushes like we see these two guys getting.
Of course, those defense pair there as well for these two teams. Again, so surreal. Potzloff on defense with Loimu, Tombu, and of course Teemu in terms of the player picture that we still had available to us here. Again, just joining over from Frölunda. I'm very intrigued to see how this, how both sets of defense happen to look. Obviously, Potzloff has that built-in chemistry with Loimu, just playing from a different position, whereas you have Teemu joining up with a new team that obviously views him as the potential missing piece that can help them not only succeed in the regular season, but in the playoffs as well.
Yeah, the playoff success is key for SAWO this season. At this point, we expect them to be in the playoffs, but they kind of have a lot to sort of prove to themselves and to this league and to all the viewers out there of, yeah, you got that 2 seed, but then you got bounced pretty early in the playoffs. So now's your chance. It's like, okay, now you're expected to get back, and, well, you need to get past that first round. Otherwise, another narrative, a very negative narrative, will start to get developed around your team as a team not able to get things done in the playoffs. But yeah, you look at that flip side, Potzloff and Loimu. You think if you're going to transition perhaps from from forward to defense, you got to think maybe center is one of the easier ones to go to. You play a bit of a more defensive game anyway. We've always mentioned Potzloff is definitely one of the more unsung heroes on this Frölunda team. Brings so much to the table on both sides of the puck. Will now be bringing that to that left defense side. Very interesting to see how that's going to pan out.
And of course, the goaltending matchup is the final head-to-head that we have here. Again, puck drop just a few moments away. It is 2 of the best, and again, arguably the best in the ECL's history. It is Kape for Frölunda. But Sin, the story of SAWO last year was the emergence of Nike almost posting a 900 save percentage, which is essentially almost unheard of in competitive sixes, especially at this level. You talk about the consistency in which these goaltenders face shots, which sometimes isn't all that often, and it's almost always high quality. He was incredible. it was called out that it was probably unsustainable in the playoffs. And, indeed, that ended up being the case. I don't think you can pin that playoff loss on him. But how do you possibly live up to the standard that you set for yourself the season before?
Yeah, going to be absolutely tough, and it might come down to where he simply doesn't, and it might come down to with the way that SAWO set up, they're going to be more of one of those top teams who don't allow a ton of shots, and I think sometimes the shot volume that Nikkei would face, we saw it from SAWO a lot. They were like a bend don't break team. Their collapse was incredible, and it came down to them being able to force the turnovers at the right time when the puck went high to kind of generate their offense from on the counterattacks. And with Teemu back there, you got to feel like that defensive core is a lot more solidified. So perhaps Nikkei is going to find himself in a position that a Kape or a Hanselino does, where the shots that they face are those ones that kind of get through that are super high quality.
So again, a few moments away here from the start of our second matchup. Again, it is essentially main event Sunday in terms of these spotlighted matchups. Of course, here tonight, kicking off our spring season here at Sports Gamer for the ECL Elite Division. And Sin, we've seen the format change this year. It is all hopefully leading to that grand finale in the middle of June. Grand champion might be crowned. It would be the winner of our winter season, which was H-Reds, against the winner of the spring season. But H-Reds have a great chance to be crowned grand champions, and they can do so just by winning this. Again, if they win both seasons, that's it. They get the grand championship prize money as well, and rightfully so if they're able to go back-to-back. But I think it's very interesting. The shakeup that we always see with these teams, you never quite know what you're going to see in an offseason, highlighted by Frölunda bringing in Flyer Kungen. Both of these teams certainly have the goal of not letting H-Reds walk away with a grand championship, at least without having to play that particular series.
Yeah, absolutely. And to no one's surprise whatsoever, H-Reds bringing the exact same lineup to the table. If it ain't fixed, or if it ain't broken, don't fix it. And that seems to be the mentality of H-Reds. They made history already. I mentioned that briefly before the previous series. They're looking to continue making history. I mean, we never had a repeat, so obviously we've never had a three-peat, and that's what H-Reds is going to be looking to do. But with the kind of massive moves, as you alluded to, that teams like SAWO and Frölunda are bringing into the table now, they seem very clear on what they want to do. I mean, we've never seen Eki not playing right wing for Frölunda. I mean, to do that, you're forced into that. You don't necessarily do that willingly if you're winning a championship every other year like Frölunda had been, but they've lost 2 straight in the finals very convincingly, a total score of 8-1. And absolutely. Yeah, massive changes may be needed there.
We do have a slight delay here. Some unfortunate issues with trying to get the lobby together due to what we're going to call game connectivity. You can read between the lines on that one. So a bit of a delay here in terms of starting things off. Let's throw it back to the standing screen here, Sim, because, we've talked about a lot of teams making changes. There have been some teams that haven't done a whole heck of a lot. And I do think ultimately that it could pay off. It's just every single team that you look at here has their own unique story to tell. I mean, think about it. It was just a few short months ago that we were discussing, oh, here's Vesapampa rebranded to Granite Gaming. Where are they going to go? And they make it to the Final Four and then choose to go their separate ways. You never know what's going to happen in this particular division, and it leads to such an interesting story this year. You have the Falun Coal Miners, for example, where the likes of Furion happens to land. Then you end up with Antonio Mannon going to HV71, and what a pickup that is for them here now in their second season in this division. You have Ekin and Laminens going to FBK, Fariastad. I just never know what to expect from this division, and every time I think, oh man, an offseason can't get any crazier than this, teams always find a way to prove you wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. And, there's only so much we can kind of discern from how we think these standings are going to go. I mean, you expect to see, I think for me at least, I'm expecting to see, H-Reds, Frölunda, SAWO, Färjestad. I think those are guaranteed playoff berths. But everyone else, I can't put a guarantee on that. Havu Gaming, they've always been a competitor, but the loss of their captain, Flyer Kung, and the changes that they've had to make, they losing those 2 games to Goons, while they did get a couple points, I would still consider them a pretty big question mark. I mean, I would say there's only about 4 guarantees to make the playoffs, or at least who I have in mind as a guarantee. Everything else completely wide open.
I can't help but think, though, Sin, too. Now, Eki put up a post yesterday on Twitter talking about what, his expectations were for the season. A lot of people in the community responding to that and giving their takes. And honestly, I think that's been the story. You have so many people who are like, okay, H-Reds, Frölunda probably up there. Then you got like Färjestad and SAWO probably up there. And then those 5 to 8 seeds, the guys just outside the playoffs who might even be drifting down. It is just, it's no man's land, essentially. Like, you just have
Yeah.
no idea where the chips are going to fall this season. I think it is going to make for one of, if not the most interesting season that we've had here, in a good way to hopefully culminate towards our grand champion again, whether or not there is an individual matchup or not. So again, buckle up for the next 2 months here. It's going to be a very interesting ride. We should be just a few moments away. Again, apologies for the delay on this start, but again, some technical issues there for one of the teams. Should be, again, just a few minutes away. And so it's very difficult for me right now to not want to go back and just be like, yeah, so that Frölunda lineup's crazy, right?
Yeah.
But it's the one thing that stands out. Again, an absolutely surreal thing that we are about to see. Again, Havu's now former captain in Flyer Kungan joining up with their greatest rivals in an effort to try to take down this H-Reds squad that, I mean, how many superlatives could you bestow upon them to describe just how good this team has been? Obviously, if you're someone in the North American side of things, you might side with one of the top teams there. But there is no doubt in my mind, they are my choice for the top team in the world right now. You beat Frölunda in back-to-back finals, only dropping 1 game out of the 9 that they played. Yeah, you have my nod for best team in the world.
Yeah, hard to really argue with that. It just seems to be, that just crazy tier level. I mean, we're talking about a team that contains Playmaker, Eki, Kape. I mean, all those names that got beat twice in, very convincing fashion. And H-Reds not changing anything. And why the heck should they? And just to look it's not easy to look dominant in any of these high level plays. But how hard do you think it is to look dominant against a team that contains Eki, Playmaker, and it's absolutely unreal that they were able to make it look the way they did. And now we see Frölunda trying to adjust to that, bringing in some more help and shaking things up and trying to be able to take down H-Reds.
A tough task for both of these 2 teams. Again, you see them in the lobby there. It is SAWO ESPORTS taking on Frölunda HC. And again, very intriguing to see how this one will play out. A lot of playmakers, a lot of puck-moving defensemen. And a reminder for you guys, tomorrow, towards our normally scheduled time, of course, Sunday now with a special time at 19:45 CEST, it is going to be Roots Gaming taking on Conquer Gaming in a very interesting matchup there. Roots, the 9th seed last year, just missed out. And then we talked about them a little bit earlier. Färjestad, maybe the strongest they've ever been on paper, and they take on ZSC Esports, and another team that's kind of stuck around for the last couple of seasons, where a lot of people thought they might be one and done, and it looks like they keep getting better. They brought in Kermit there from No Rex Gaming, who I am very intrigued to see now on the big stage.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of the thing. It's tough to get into the elite division. It's even tougher to stay here, but they've done that. So step number 1 and 2 complete. Now they just need to work their way into that postseason.
So here we go. The action underway. Again, Frölunda in the road whites, SAWO in their home black and yellow. The first game of 2 between these 2 squads here in this broadcast. If you're joining us for the first time, of course, make sure to drop us a follow here. Of course, check out sportsgamer.gg for all the information that you need to follow along throughout the season, not just in the elite division, but beyond. Another opportunity there. A couple early looks for Frölunda. SAWO doing a good job of getting sticks in the lane. You see Teemu handed off and a big outlet pass there by Tombu. That puck continuing to trickle down towards the Frölunda zone. Eki is there to take it away. And Sin, what might we see in terms of Potzloff? He has the puck here. His willingness to join up into the play has to be a threat to every single team they play this season. This one is knocked loose. Eki has it around the back. I think he wanted the wraparound. Blockers stop there on the shot by Playmaker. Again, dishes back to the point. Good quick movement, and then perhaps a bit too quick there.
Yeah, just tried to send that one back, and it went and split the D right there. Unfortunately, neither Potsdam or Loimu could get to that puck there. But yeah, I think it's very interesting. I think you made a good point. Potsdam, with all the experience as a forward, you have to be looking out for him to jump into that play.
Here comes Jurska, the sauce across. Kape is there. Good defense on display as well by Loimu to help take that away. Again, Jurska, Rookie of the Year last year. Sin, a phenomenal season for him, and you can see why off a pass like that. The vision that he possesses to try and set up these plays always seems to find himself in the right spots. This one will go all the way back to the Frölunda zone.
So we're seeing someone checking out their ping right there.
An unbearable 13. Simply unbearable 13. How do they possibly deal with it? So we have a face-off win there for Moja. Let's see what SAWO can do. A couple of interesting moments here on some of these passes for SAWO. Going to look to clean that up. Miscommunication at the line and an offside call there. Again, the first game of this 30-game regular season for both of these two teams. So again, SAWO, the 2 seed last season, Sin, and Frölunda, the 3.
Yeah, it's going to really be interesting to see how SAWO is going to be able to try to gain that blue line when Frölunda gets set up. Because again, we always talk about how seemingly reliant SAWO has been on that with the their counterattack plays and their quick rush abilities, and it's tough to get those against a Frölunda team, and even tougher to gain the line once they're set up on that blue line.
Becky nearly found his way through. Tombu's had to be on point so far. Left defenseman for SAWO, the captain, has a tough task trying to deal with the wingers here. Zaki, now Potsdam jumping up. And we see it there. Flyer Kungum is helping cover for him. They keep it in. This one off the pads of Nike. He'll be forced to cover. We'll have another offensive zone face-off here for Frölunda.
Yeah, I'm already really loving the aggression coming out from Frölunda on that forecheck, and you expect to see it. We remember how good Playmaker and Eki were on that. You add Flyer Kungin now, playing wing, of course, so maybe Eki will hang back a bit more often, but just 3 guys who can forecheck relentlessly on this Frölunda team.
Flyer Kungin had that puck down low, picked off again by Tombu. A little bit of trouble now for Teemu. Again, knows the opposition very, very well. Trouble for Jurska on the step up, but they do handle it. Moja likes to go to Teemu. Now Vatu holds up. Going down the boards and in the middle. Great movement and a great save there. I think that one ended up to the blocker side of Kape, and a good keep here by Teemu. That shot blocked. Second chance knocked away again by Loimu. He's being swarmed by SAWO. Thrown into the traffic, and it ends up out to the half wall. Dangerous, dangerous moments there. 4 minutes to play here in the first period. As a dump and chase attempt is mistimed. Flyer Kunga looked like he might just pressure to try and stop the clock, but the clock keeps ticking. Again, the first period here. First game of 2, the regular season matchup between 2 of the best that this division has to offer. And a trip there, an interesting time for that. A rare mistake. But Sin, we will see the first power play of the day. That is Loimu going to the box.
Yeah, kind of a tough animation for him right there, and definitely not in a bad position to get that poke off and stop the zone entry against the boards, but stick just gets caught in the feet, and we're going to get to see that SAWO power play go to work.
Great opportunity here. Dangerous players to have in open space. Off the draw, tie up. Puck ends up out of the zone. Here's Flyer Kungan, self-saucing for speed. Cuts back, holds, and tried to go short side. Just lost it. Gets it back here, though. And again, has it knocked away. Great pressure there. The shorthanded bid for Flyer Kungan. Again, his debut here in the ECL League Division with Frölunda. Batu for Jurska. Again, now Tombu. Good quick movement here. Of course, that power play will wind down a little bit faster due to that fast final minute, but it does slow it down compared to what it would be. Great glove save by Kape. Jurska getting that one through the traffic and maybe feeling a little bit let down that one didn't find the back of the net.
Yeah, and so far, I've really liked Kape's game. He's had to make some pretty tough saves early on here and keeping him out.
Vatu has it poked away. 30 seconds to go. Another rush attempt here, just about back to 5-on-5. Moja nowhere to go, and fresh out of the box, it's Loimu. Final 10 seconds. Potsdam can't hold it. fighting for the puck. It'll be Yerska. 2 seconds to go. Gets it to the forehand, but can't get the shot off. We make it through the opening 20 minutes without a goal. I thought we might see some elite edges. Instead, we see one of the saves there from Nike on a short side bit.
Yeah, a couple decent opportunities for both of these teams, but I think, SAWO maybe with the advantage of the opportunities that they got, but big, kind of talking point for us between periods here, I think, is Flyer Kunkin absolutely making his presence felt, doing what he does best, getting on the forecheck, always aggressive, always a threat with that defensive skill stick in all 3 zones. But how about his work on that penalty kill? The L skating to open up some space, try to get a shooting opportunity, and just really at least killing time. We saw that great blocker save coming out from Kape, as you mentioned, off that one time. Went for the blocker side. He was able to swallow that up, and that time not committing too far over to the slide, is able to get his glove on it as the defenseman shoots back the other way. Those are the only 2 shots technically that he faced, but both of them pretty big scoring opportunities for SAWO Esports, with this game remaining scoreless here as we head into the second period.
Indeed, puck drop. Eki going with another tie-up off of the face-off. We'll keep an eye out on that. It's been his go-to so far. Of course, it's been pointed out in chat, duly noted, the Austin Matthews build, as he's made it clear as well on Twitter. So, a decent comparison, dare I say, for Eki. But at the same time, I mean, well, what's Austin Matthews going to hit? 60 goals plus this season in 82 games. So, I don't know. What's a realistic number for Eki? We got to see at least 40 and 30, I think, is the call as we progress through this season. But there's only one puck to go around for this almost all-star caliber lineup. It is essentially an all-star team that they've built here. Flyer Kunkin circles around, explores his options. Eki in the corner, gets it back, and that's the thing. Eki can play that bumper roll if necessary. Playmaker tried that short side, and again, Nike on point, holding the post. Chance Teemu the pass in front, and Moja has it. And we're going to have another penalty called. It will be SAWO's second man advantage of the game. A tripping call here against Flyer Kunkin.
Yeah, it just looks like he got that defensive skill stick into the feet. It was hard to see from that replay, but looked like as the puck came across, it did break up that initial pass as well. So it's not a horrible penalty to take, but they will find themselves on the kill once again and cannot keep giving your opponent opportunities like that.
Trying to play that one out. Teemu's able to keep it in. That shot blocked down. Teemu not afraid to throw it on net. What a chance for Vatu. Found it in front. Good save by Kape, and Playmaker's able to clear after intercepting a pass.
Big clear right there. SAWO was really swarming right there. A couple chances in tight. But once again, Kape really having a tremendous start to this game, turning away everything.
Trouble here for SAWO on the break-in. Playmaker sends it back to the neutral zone. Just 40 seconds to go in the man advantage here. Teemu at least has the one around the back, and that great clearance there, wasting no time, and just like that, SAWO's power play nearly up. Yerska gains the zone. Potzloff able to take it away and clear. We are back to 5-on-5. Loimu completely swarmed as he approached the blue line, and another offside call here. So it's in another chance for SAWO, but it doesn't come with it. Doesn't come bearing fruits. Essentially, still looking for their first goal of the season.
Yeah, and it's been very tough for them when Frölunda's established at that line. And you're kind of seeing why SAWO so many occasions was relying more on the quick counterattacks and the turnovers being forced in dangerous areas for their opposition here, especially when you go up against a team like Frölunda. It's so hard to gain the line, but here Frölunda do it themselves.
Playmaker, great job to hold on to that one. Loimu dishes it right back to him, rocketed off the side of the goal. Now out to that right-hand side. Potzloff stepping in to get it back. Tried to go low. Picked off by Teemu. Scramble for it. Teemu still has it. Batu's able to rescue it. See what Moja can do. Drops back for the defense again and again. Back up to him, but offside. SAWO continuing to find gaining the offensive zone consistently. Continuing to find that to be rather difficult, I think is a nice way to put it.
Yeah, the collapses on the puck carry that Frölunda are bringing to the table right there, right as they get towards that line right there, is absolutely instrumental in shutting down the attack, or at the very least, shutting down the speed.
It's a good poke check there again by Tombu. Very strong start in this game for the captain. Eki has that one knocked loose by Vatu, and a good pass now for Yerska. Drops it back. Moja again trying to gain line with speed. Loose puck. Still fought on for, now down in the corner. It will be Flyer Kungan who comes away with it. See what Eki can do now. Back over to his new teammate, and a loose puck again corralled by Tombu. Interesting moments here, Sin. It just feels like both teams are one lucky break away, perhaps. That little bit of extra space away from finding the game's opening goal. That shot off the blocker of Kape. He makes the save. Good positioning there. Don't even know how well he saw that one. Again, these shots getting through traffic for SAWO. Trouble for Playmaker as he can't reach back to pick that one up. And we will have yet another offside call here with 5:32 to go.
Yeah, Playmaker a bit fooled by his own player right there, as it looked like he was getting the animation to pick up the puck, so he didn't opt to keep slowing down on the skating, and unfortunately for him, he didn't quite get the full animation to get that puck. Otherwise, would have had a good opportunity to gain the line and set something up, and that's something that it's been a bit harder to come by for Frölunda, is setting it up there. We've mentioned SAWO always have a very strong collapse. It's hard, it can be hard really to get those long extended zone times in there, and when you do, you're always on the perimeter here. But Frölunda, they want to force the issue and get to the inside. We'll see if they can do it here.
Eki and Potzloff, great work together. Again, we've seen Potzloff jump up a few times. EK was all over that one. Now 2.5 to play. Loimu being harassed behind the back of his own goal there, but he is able to maintain possession. Good movement now for Frölunda, trying to gain the line. Pass was off the mark. Moja, great pass to Hirska, but it's immediately poked away. In terms of team defense, both clubs came to play today. Here's Flyer Kungan. Looking at his options, goes to Loimu. Again, back down. They want that low cycle. Playmaker, it's in front. Taken away by Moja. Quick out to Vatu. Has a little bit of space. Can Potzloff catch him? He can with the poke check. What a job by the captain. And he'll look to kill the clock. Moja in front. And some nervous moments for Frölunda there at the end of the second period, but still, Sim, we go into the next period with a tie game on our hands.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful poke from behind by Potzloff there. Definitely have a lot of experience with the way we've seen him back check over the course of the years. Definitely not, unfamiliar to situations like that. Just a beautiful positioning with the defensive skill stick to poke that off before Vatu could get that shot off on Kape. But this has been a crazy even matchup so far between these two teams. And as maybe expected, there's been a couple, things to sort of figure out on the Frölunda side when they're in that offensive zone. We get another look at that poke right there. Excuse me, it wasn't even a defensive stick. He just got a very clean poke off right there. And you see the time on attack for Frölunda, but they haven't been able to get enough shots to kind of, benefit themselves. Only averaging 1 shot per minute of time on attack. That's simply not going to be good enough. And we've seen a couple maybe miscues in that O-zone. The last time they had it in their Playmaker, Flyer Kungan kind of collided with each other as they're looking to switch positions here. These are things that I'm sure they're going to be working out in practice and scrims and throughout the season as it goes on.
Again, third period underway here now. ECL Elite Division action brought to you by our friends at Wilhelm, Kovalon Lakritzi, and ST Hockey. A big thank you to them. The big thank you to you for joining us here. Again, this is the first game of 2 between 2 of the best clubs in the world, and I think you can see what the dynamic is when you have 2 of the best going head-to-head. Flyer Kungan nearly breaking through, and again, both squads with huge new additions to the team, and we have our breakthrough. Playmaker on the backhand, found the rebound, and gets the goal. 1-0 for Frölunda.
And that play starts behind the net right there. Excellent follow-up. The tenacity, the ferociousness of the forecheck coming from Flyer Kungan forces that turnover. Sent back to the middle. The initial shot doesn't quite go, but it was Playmaker, as you mentioned, on the rebound, on the backhand, putting that one home. Frölunda taking a 1-0 lead here in the third period.
Great job as well by Loimu to get that one towards its intended target. The defense stepping up for the former champions and working out well so far. There's Loimu again stepping up into the play. Tried to get it to Kungan in front. Tuka just not able to get that one away. And see now what Moja can do. Vatu the shot, and it's swept in by his own man. The goal will count. SAWO gets it right back. And we have 2 goals within the first 5 minutes.
Tough break for the defense of Frölunda right there, but we see once again the quick counterattack ability of SAWO. Not a bad pass. The rebound It was gonna be juicy, especially as Kape was sliding the other way. Tough to say if SAWO or Frölunda would have gotten there first, or if Kape could have got back for it, but we'll be wondering that for a while, as that was the stick of the defenseman on the back check there. Just kind of knocked it in off of the rebound. Unfortunate break. SAWO will take it. We got a tie game.
Again, Vatu, a tremendous job to make the most of that one. Really like that shot to the far side, like you called out, Sin. And just like that, we are right back to even. You get the opening goal from Playmaker. Blink and you miss it. Vatu ties this one up at 1 apiece. And maybe that will set the tone for the scoring here in this third. Or maybe Sin, we see these teams kind of, collapse a little bit more, focus a bit more on the defensive side of things. But Frölunda going right after it. Playmaker again in front, and a big save there off the shot by Eki. Good opportunity. Look at that pressure, though, from Playmaker, trying to take away that behind-the-net pass that so many teams like to do to get that breakout going. Here is Vatu again, bumped off momentarily. Good pickoff there by Loimu. Eki now for Playmaker. Goal scorer, the spin in front. Vatu's right there to intercept it. Now they go back down the other way. Errant pass. And an icing call with 9:55 to go. So already halfway through this third period.
Kind of flown by right there, and that's a kind of a slight mistake there from SAWO, not getting the red line before trying like a sauce or stretch pass right there. They'll have to deal with the defensive zone draw. However, Moja does win it clean.
See what Teemu can do here. Tried to utilize that bank, not able to work out. Here is Potzloff. Goes back down the wall for Eki, and again, quick give and goes with the point. Down low, Playmaker wants Flyer Kungen in front. Just couldn't get the most. That shooting opportunity, a bit of a harsh angle. Jurska throws one on. Why not? I mean, you had an own goal just a few moments ago. Flyer Kungen wiped out. Let's see what Frölunda can do. Have to play it a little bit safe as, again, their new addition gets back to his feet. Potentially dealing with an injury as well. We'll see. That affects him. Good poke check here to keep the puck into the attacking zone. Double team pressure, but again, SAWO handling it well. Piece of candy, and it doesn't go. What a chance again for Playmaker. He has the puck. D to D, one-timer. Great block by Vatu. Right back to Potzloff. He goes down low. Eki. See what he can do. Bumped off by Moja. SAWO unable to clear the zone. Kept in again. Playmaker shot blocked down by the traffic in front. And finally, some reprieve for the SAWO defenders, but it's only for a moment. Flyer Kungen. Bit too much traffic to deal with. And again, SAWO trying to get something going down the other way. It's been all Frölunda for the past couple of minutes here. As Playmaker again into the zone. One-timer blocked down. Zeki able to get it along the boards. Let's see what Flyer Kungen can do. Disrupted. And it's SAWO in possession. Bouncing puck. Jurska trying to protect and poked away into another offside call.
Yeah, Frölunda really starting to come with some steam right here, and SAWO on the ropes, as you mentioned. We're seeing a nice hit right there, but that's a hit that led to the Flyer Kungen injury. But right before that, he made a quick pass to the middle to continue that breakout there. So the turnover was not forced. A heads-up play for Flyer Kungen, taking the hit to make the play.
So another big face-off here. Will we see the tie-up from Eki? Frölunda utilizing that on quite a few occasions. Moja actually with the tie-up of his own. 1:20 to go. Sin, you had the luxury of calling 2 overtime games. Again, the schedule changing to now covering games on Sunday, and well, we gotta find the alliteration there. We used to have Marathon Monday. It might turn into Sundays now.
Yeah, well, I was just saying that we got Marathon Mondays. When will it end? Wednesdays, and we'll have to see what develops out of Sundays. But if we might have to start thinking about it quickly, is this one getting down to it in the third period, maybe heading to overtime?
Give us your best suggestions in chat. What a pick off there by Vatu on the off wing. Sauce is in front, taken away. Loose puck. Tambu, trouble. He's bullied out of the zone. So is the puck. Now 22 seconds to play in the first game of 2, the regular season matchup between these two clubs. It could very well be on a playoff collision course if last season is anything to go off of. Here's Vatu again. Will there be a late winner for either of these two sides? 6 seconds to go. It's likely to be SAWO. If it is anybody, trouble for Eki. Gets it to the point. Moja's shot is blocked. And indeed, Sin, you're 3 for 3 today. We're going to overtime here in this game.
Yeah, and Kape getting the highlight here. I got to say, well-deserved with the way he's played in this game. Of course, it's Not going to show a great save by him by any means, as he had quite a few in this one, though. But in that third period, as you mentioned, Frölunda really kind of starting to put the pressure on and unable to find that go-ahead goal, but not for a lack of chances. But here in overtime, obviously can go either way, but you really see those stance slanting in favor of Frölunda, though. However, I'm still going to say maybe need a few more shots on net here. They definitely seem to be looking for something, still trying to figure out, where their offensive looks are going to come from with this new the new front three. Obviously Eki sliding to the middle, Flyer Kungen coming in on that right wing side, but they definitely look threatening. They're definitely getting the possession. They're just going to need to try to translate that into goals, but also, credit where credit's due. SAWO has always kind of done this. They do a great job of trying to keep a team to that perimeter. We're not going to see Frölunda throw a lot of prayers up from the perimeter in a tight game. They're going to look for those opportunities that they know can go in and that they know they can make happen. But right now, because of that defense from SAWO, few and far between as they try to start off with a stretch pass.
There we go indeed. Overtime underway. Sudden death rules will be here for as long as it takes. So we find the game-winning goal. Moja looks to go to the right. Vatu now for Jurska. His shot stopped by Kape. Covered there on the boards. Let's see what Frölunda can do now, trying to get things going back down the other way. A lot of sustained offensive time for them in this game. Flyer Kungen down low for Eki. Goes back for Loimu at the point. Fakes that slap shot. Eki again circling back. Goes to Loimu at the point. Slap shot blocked. Rebound there. Playmaker is denied. Nike all over that one. Read it perfectly. Stretch pass taken away. Potzloff again stepping up. For those that missed the news, dropping back to defense, has the Frölunda centerman for years and years and years with this club now at this stage. Here's Jurska. Loses it. Tombu has that one blocked. Gets it back. Again, a low cycle taken away. Potzloff is there. See what he can do. Waits it out. Finds Eki. Hands it off for Playmaker with speed. Still fighting for it. Banks off the back of the net. Moja nearly swept it away from himself. Right into the hands of the opposition. Moja has it again. That one off the skates of Eki. What a sauce pass. Playmaker stepping in. Tried to cut back to the inside. Or to the outside, excuse me. I mean, Sim, what a goal that would have been to potentially cap off this game.
Yeah, went with the between the legs. Deke trying to get around the defense. Just lost the handle on the puck at the end there.
Jurska for Teemu. Let's see what he can do. That pass again intercepted. No space in the middle of the ice for Frölunda. Loimu, that one on net. Paddled away by Nike Vatu. The handoff now for Teemu again, formerly with Frölunda. A battle for and a penalty called. Sin for the third time this game. SAWO to the power play. It's an interference call, and it looked like that might have been Eki.
Yeah, I'm not too sure who exactly that was, and it's hard to kind of see where the interference came from. Obviously, we didn't get to see the replay, but I didn't see anything too major, so it's probably just one of those slight bumps away from the puck that we've noticed that has been being called here in NHL 22. But I mean, just look at this matchup here. Still only those 7 shots coming out from Frölunda with the 7:09 time on attack here. And yet another power play opportunity for SAWO here. This is their third opportunity here, and what a time it would be for them to get a goal.
Can't let this one go to waste at a crucial time like this. That one fired just wide. What a look there for Tombu. Probably their best look on the man advantage so far as this one is cleared out. Great opportunity there again for the captain on that one-timer. Sidney Ware's 65. It was Carlson-esque, dare I say.
It was a rocket of a shot there from the point that just sort of whistled wide right there. And Kape, of course, not in bad position, but with how hard that shot was, if that location was true, we could have easily saw the end of the game right there.
35 seconds to go as they gain the zone, only temporarily. Flyer Kungen able to send that one down. And we'll see what happens here. Time for one more rush. SAWO can get anything going. The answer is no. They fall to 0-3 on the power play in this game. Not exactly a hot start on the man advantage. That one bouncing around looked like it was nearly home goal again. This time by Potzloff. They do survive that scare. And now Frölunda drawing the call. Flyer Kungen Oh, living up to his namesake. He went flying headfirst
Yeah.
towards the boards. It will be Tombu taking a seat for that one. And maybe, just maybe, Frölunda looking to show him how that's done on this man advantage.
Yeah, their first power play opportunity and a great opportunity for them here in overtime. That was a nice little give right there from Eki to Flyer Kungen as he's cutting across the ice to gain the zone, and it drew out the extended poke from Tombu, which led to the trip.
Clean win, set play. It's on net. Nike able to find that one. Potzloff got that one towards goal. Bit of a close call there.
Yeah, and Eki was, well, we guessed it, right there on the doorstep, looking for a rebound, perhaps a deflection as well.
And you saw it, the face-off's close. I believe now 12-9 in SAWO's favor. Clean win for Moja, and the puck is cleared. Good start there. Kape, just trying to stay warm back there.
Yeah. Doing this classic windmill dance as he so often does when that puck goes towards him.
5 minutes to play here again in OT1. Puck battled on for. Playmaker has the goal for Frölunda. Gets absolutely flattened, and the puck is cleared. Just 40 seconds to go. SAWO standing tall on this PK. Again, they are 0 for 3 themselves in this game on the man advantage. Good movement here. Flyer Kungen down low. Here's Zaki. Back down. One-timer picked off by Yerska. Man out of the box. Here's Tombu. Tried to hand off for Yerska and hit the skate. How unfortunate is that?
Yeah, that could have been a very, very dangerous play right there as the Flyer Kungen tried to force that one-time pass to the D, and lurking there was Yerska, able to get that turnover right as Tombu was exiting the box. They just couldn't connect on the pass. A big slap pass there from SAWO trying to get the quick break, but Frölunda was all over it.
Temu tried to go back into the middle. Again, no space. Flyer Kungen, let's see what he can do over the line. Playmaker, and a good save by Nike. So one-timer broken up. Flyer Kungen shot the net, scores! Right place, right time. Playmaker second of the game. He wins it with under 2 minutes to go in overtime from the harshest of angles.
Harsh angle, yeah, it doesn't even begin to describe it right there. I almost feel like that may have been nearly behind the goal line and banked off of the goaltender. Nearly Flyer Kungen had his first in the Frölunda sweater off that first initial rebound, and indeed, shot technically from behind the net and just on the corner of the pads and sneaking in past the toe on that post there. Frölunda, huge win. Playmaker getting a couple big goals. Flyer Kungen credited with a couple assists in that game as well, so getting his point scoring streak going. Still waiting for that first goal, but in that Frölunda sweater, but I'm sure that will come nonetheless. It was a great game all the way around. I think Frölunda definitely got stronger there as it went on. We saw right there that opportunity from Flyer Kungen, just blockered aside from Nike. I think that was a tremendous goaltender duel as well. Both Nike and Kape had to make some massive saves, and well, look at the save percentages, 0.86 and 0.85, about as close as it can get in that matchup there. Frölunda, of course, coming away with the victory.
So again, a look here, that big pickoff to keep the puck in. It just bounces around. The big save there. A highly unfortunate rebound, though, for Nike, given where that shot was generated from. But then, as we always say, it was likely to be a goal like that that was going to be the decider when you have such a relatively close matchup between the two. I mean, again, the numbers very much in Frölunda's favor, but again, these are two of the top 3 teams, at least as of the winter season, that we have here in the Elite Division.
Yeah, absolutely, and that played like a matchup between a couple of the top 3 teams as well. I mean, we see Frölunda getting the advantage in time and attack, but we oftentimes saw that with SAWO with last season. They would get the time and attack maybe against them, but they were, a team that would capitalize on those counterattacks. Definitely almost seemed like a kind of, a variation of the Färjestad team that we had kind of grown accustomed to, especially in that playoff series against Jypi Vaskala, where Jypi Vaskala always had the possession, always had this, and then Färjestad would get it for a minute, slap pass it down, and there would be Afe to capitalize on it. Obviously, you had on SAWO, Yerska and Vatu, who are both incredibly capable, great goal scorers as well, and work tremendous together. There's not as many opportunities against a Frölunda team who plays incredible defense, especially at the blue line.
First game in the books between these two clubs. One more game to go here again on our special feature Sunday that we have throughout this spring season. We will be back after a brief word from our sponsors, and we'll bring to you that second game and, of course, our fourth and final of the night. So don't go anywhere.
Tähän sopisi lenkki kuin valettu.
No niin, olkapa hyvä.
Wilhelm Valu sopii kuin valettu mihin vaan.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
All right, everybody. So we are back. And again, a big thank you for being with us. A big thank you again to not only Wilhelm, but Kouvolan Lakritsi and ST Hockey as well for helping make this season possible. Sin, in terms of talking about that first game and what we're looking at now moving forward into the next, first and foremost, I think we got to start off talking about the goaltending duel that we had there. I mean, both goalies kind of living up to the hype in terms of doing what you expect them to do, making the saves that you expect them to make. Of course, the numbers not quite updated yet, but a strong start to the season for both of these two.
Yeah, absolutely. Both in the the high 80s with the save percentage and kind of what you expect from a couple of the top goaltenders. We mentioned Nikke so much in the pregame, so much last season, just putting up ridiculous numbers. We've had Kape, who is, I believe, a record holder in total shutouts in a regular season. So these truly are two of the best going head to head, and a 2-1 overtime game, kind of what you may expect when these two guys are between the pipes.
Now, the other big talking point here, I would say, is, and let me know if you disagree, has to be the lack of power play success for SAWO there. I mean, 0 for 3 in that first game. And one could argue, I mean, again, you talk about lucky goals and what that might be defined as. I mean, I think some would say that was a lucky goal at the end that proved to be the OT winner, just to have the rebound go to where it did, to where a playmaker could get it. But the only goal there for SAWO was technically an own goal. Didn't really get that clean of a look throughout the game. So very much intrigued to see what we see from SAWO here, because again, they did have such a dynamic offense last season.
Yeah, and when their counterattack is getting shut down as it is at the blue line by Frölunda, and you think back to that Potzlov poke check on the back check, when it was Vatu trying to get that opportunity on goal, it was just a tremendous poke from Potzlov here. So the biggest strength of SAWO is their collapse and their ability to counterattack. And they're collapsing well enough on defense, but when you're playing a team like Frölunda, eventually they'll find a way to penetrate the middle of the ice, or they'll look for other opportunities. They're not going to be like a Granite team did in the playoffs that we saw when these two teams went to head-to-head. Yes, it worked for Granite at the time. They beat SAWO in the playoffs, but at times when they lost, it didn't look good because they kept trying the same things. They played into SAWO, and that is what led to their losses here. We're not seeing Frölunda do that in the same way, and SAWO are unable to get a lot of their offense going as they want to, and we saw it on the missed opportunities on the power play. You have to be able to capitalize when your opponent makes a mistake. That's key here in the Elite Division. They weren't able to do that. They went 0 for 3, and Frölunda, they got a lot of momentum from that power play.
Had to look it up, Sid, as well. And I mean, last season, 22% on the man advantage for SAWO. Again, third best offense in terms of goals for last year. Actually scored just one more goal than Frölunda did. But SAWO as well, it was worth pointing out last season, just 30 goals against, which is, I mean, was technically throughout the 30-game regular season. They allowed 6 fewer goals than H-Reds did. And then the gulf between H-Reds and SAWO and everyone else in terms of goals against was pretty massive. So, we talk about the new additions here for SAWO. It might take a little bit to work out some of the kinks to really get into, obviously, midseason and hopefully for them playoff form. But, just the one goal to show for it, 0 for 3 on the power play, is very, very surprising. It's also the team. It's funny because you look at SAWO as well, fewest or tied for fewest amount of penalty minutes last year. This is a team that normally, doesn't take penalties, makes the opposition pay when they do take penalties. It's just not what we saw in that first game, but it can be tough, like I said, to kind of be, in that midseason form right out of the gates, even though these teams do play and, try to fully prepare for the start of the season.
Yeah, and It's an they at the same time they still did get a point out of that game. So if they're able to respond with a win, you walk away with 3 out of 4 points. Obviously you want to try to get that win in the first game to put yourself in the best possible position by securing those 2 points. But SAWO, still got to like the position they're in. Again, they forced it. They took it to overtime. They were getting some big chances. They tested Kappa early on, and Kappa had to make a couple big saves in that first period there. If SAWO able to get a few more of quality like that, especially early on, they could find themselves in the advantageous position against Frölunda, and that would, kind of take away Frölunda's ability to sort of dictate the pace and remove, SAWO's maybe need to sort of or at least it could play into SAWO's strengths, which is forcing teams to play into them.
Absolutely. And again, you would have seen it on screen just a few moments ago. But again, a reminder, we will be right back here tomorrow as well. Roots can conquer Färjestad and ZSC Esports as they kick off their seasons. Again, 1945 CEST. Make sure to be here for that. Sin, I always go back and forth whether or not I want to put you on the hot seat for any particular matchups. I'm not going to ask for a prediction, but very intrigued to see how you think this next matchup is going to go as we get ready here. Puck drop game 2 is underway.
I think I saw Frölunda getting better and better as that first game went on, and I think they're just going to continue to get better in this series and as this season goes on as well here. So SAWO is definitely going to have to look for a bit more. They cannot rely on the counterattack against this team. They're going to have to force the issue, and here they go on the forecheck.
Again, it is SAWO in those road yellow, Frölunda in the home red, and of course you might have seen it there for Avatu, the blue icon, of course, for SAWO, now wearing the golden helmet as his team's leading scorer. You'll see that, of course, throughout the season, as it is Playmaker, of course, with his 2 goals in game number 1, including the overtime game winner, wearing the golden helmet for his squad. As indeed, we will see if Frölunda can carry that momentum or if SAWO will be able to kind of even it up with 3 points apiece. Here's Flyer Kungen in behind the defense, cuts back, toe drag, and another opportunity there from the side of the net for Eki. A blocker save off one more chance from Flyer Kungen, and still Frölunda in the attacking zone. Playmaker shot the rebound just out of the reach of Eki, and what a start, seemingly out of nowhere for Frölunda.
That saucer pass from, I think it was Playmaker over to Flyer Kungen, was a thing of beauty. Led him perfectly, allowed him to maintain the step he had on the defender to get, that opportunity in tight. He did a tremendous stop and go play. Wow, coming out from Frölunda right there. Absolutely gorgeous. Unfortunately, they aren't able to capitalize.
This one nearly kept in by Tombu. Rough break there, and not out of the common calls that we've had here. It's offside against SAWO. They're definitely going to look to clean that up as this goes along.
Definitely, you have to. I mean, you're not going to get a whole lot of opportunities to gain the line. You're going to see the occasional offsides when you're playing Frölunda. That's just how good they are, standing you up at the blue line here. But you have to find alternative methods when what you want to do isn't working to gain that line.
Great job there by Loimu to break it up. Now Playmaker looking at his options. And I don't think he expected that pass to go straight to the opposition. Maybe not one of the options that he had in mind. We are already halfway through this first period. You see an offside call here as well against Frölunda. Again, Frölunda so far, the primary chances that we've seen from either side here in game 2.
A more advantageous neutral zone face-off for them as well. We used to see a lot more kind of set plays off these neutral zones, and there's a nice one right there. The tie-up, and Flyer Kungen enters.
That one rocketed into the slot. It was bouncing around in the crease, still there, and Nike is able to find it. That's why you see those rocket passes into the slot as often as you do. That one nearly found its way home for Playmaker again, showing off the ability that he has in terms of saucing the puck. The D-to-D one-timer. Excellent block by Yerska, trying to lead things down the other way. Vatu's pass, though, was off the mark. Some quick D-to-D work here for Frölunda, just trying to get those forwards going, give them that bit of extra space. As Eki forced to hold. Looks to reset. Some miscommunications here. Again, that was Potsdam and Flyer Kungen running into one another. Again, the big change that we've seen. And you can tell, set plays here essentially to get that puck moving. Great looks. A puck that rockets over to the far side. And again, it'll be Frölunda in the mix. Flyer Coogan gains the zone. Tried to find Eki in the middle. Nobody home. And a bit of space here now. 3-on-1 developing for SAWO. Yerska tried the short side. May have been tipped by the defense. Again, Eki was back there as well to help. Playmaker now, Flyer Coogan. Trying to hold on to it. Vatu's able to take it away. It's Teemu trying to join in on the rush. What a poke check there. Finds its way to Playmaker. Scrambles for the puck. Very short possession time for these individual players. Potzloff over for Eki. Loimu and Eki, couple of quick passes. Great poke check there by Yerska. He turns it over, though. Eki, what a save! A great stop there by Nike. Remember that one. As we just about hit the final minute of the first period. That one goes wide. So it was blocked. Playmaker tried the short side. Nike again able to find it, being heavily pressurized here in the first period, but making some big saves. Last season's goalie of the year.
And we're getting a big look at the potential of this front three coming out from Frölunda. Playmaker, Eki, and Flyer Kungen. Just a really nice give and go between Eki and Flyer Kungen. Then you saw Playmaker get in on the action too. Thought about a pass to try to hit Flyer Kungen for a one-time, then just instead tested that short side.
Final 10 seconds. Shot on and a great chance for Eki. Another shot. Healed it. Did Playmaker, and it's going to be just out of the reach of Potzloff to bring us to the end of the first period. SAWO having to rely on their netminder. He's the face of this spring season for a reason. He made some big saves. That one, not the first one to come to mind for me, but still an all-important stop.
Yeah, gotta make the saves nonetheless. That one was tremendous. It was a beautiful bit of passing. That was a give and go I was talking about from Flyer Kungen hitting Eki there, and he gets a nice little dipsy doodle through the middle of the ice and is able to put that shot on. That's the kind of period that Frölunda wants. They probably weren't happy with the volume of shots that they had. They cranked it up to 11 in that first period. Got 7 registered shots in about a minute and a half to 2 minutes of time on attack. 0 for SAWO here. We're getting another look there. Just one of the many shots that Frölunda had in tight in that period there is just absolute wow. That's the one right there that just was gorgeous. There was a pass from Flyer Kungen to Eki as he slid through the middle, and a massive, massive save coming out from Nike in the splits here. He's been the difference in this first period. Frölunda got to be feeling like they deserved a goal right there. They're going to keep up this pressure.
Indeed, second period underway here. Again, a 2-1 overtime victory for Frölunda to kick off their season in the first game. Thank you all for joining us here again. Sundays now on the schedules. Every Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday. You can find us right here at SportsGamer GG for our coverage of the ECL Elite Division. And throughout the year as well, you might just see coverage of our other tiers. Again, sportsgamer.gg for all the info that you need with everything going on under the ECL umbrella, as a good bit of zone time and a good save there off the 1T from Tombu. Maybe the most sustained offensive zone time SAWO's had in this game so far. Playmaker around the back, again trying to hold on to it. Finds its way to Vatu. Now Teemu has it poked away off the back pressure, and it's Frölunda right back in control of the puck. See if they can gain the line. The answer is no as the puck trickles its way down. Turnover here, though. Playmaker, again, trying to hold on to it. Bit too much pressure from the defense. Moja for Yerska. Good possession, and a rebound, they score! It's Tombu throwing it on. Vatu is able to find it and get his second goal of this young season, Sin, and the opening goal of this contest.
Just right on the doorstep, right there, right place, right time. Good decision coming from Tombu just to rifle that one on. And yeah, just a bit of a case of the defense losing contain right there. Vatu below everyone right there, right on the doorstep, the place that you do not want him to be. Swoops up that rebound. It wasn't a big rebound either. You know, the Kape didn't really kind of cough up something juicy, but it was just enough. And Vatu opens up the scoring in this game, and that's got to hurt for Frölunda with the great first period that they had, the amount of chances, the amount of pressure that they were getting, failing to capitalize. Nike making some huge stops, and SAWO comes back and gets the opening goal. It's very much kind of their bread and butter. Nike making huge stops when he needs to, and them getting a quick one back.
So indeed, let's see now how Frölunda respond, trailing for the first time this season. Of course, so early on, it's going to be a season of firsts As, you know, we like to see the personalities come out there a little bit soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shout out to King of Apes as well. He was calling for another Vatu goal. He got what he wanted. You know, a two-time champion here in the Elite Division. Might be a part of that three-peat squad. Good save there by Nikkei, especially with Playmaker right there in front. Zeki the 1T bouncing around, and what a goal that is. Heartbreaker for SAWO and Nikkei. That is unstoppable as Playmaker has his third. It's just a shootout between Playmaker and Vatu.
Yep, get your quarters ready because we are playing pinball out here right there. That puck took about 3 different bounces on its way to the back of the net. Playmaker just sweeping that home. Not a whole lot Nikkei could have done on that play as he was sliding over to adjust to the first initial deflection to the left-hand side. And fortuitous bounce maybe, but a good play overall from Frölunda to get that puck back, the one-time opportunity on. And Playmaker once again cleaning up the garbage.
Again, that puck just bouncing around all over the place. It seemingly finds its way to Playmaker. I mean, again, best players know where to be, and sometimes it might be better to be lucky than good, but Playmaker's been one of the elite goal scorers in this Elite Division during our time here over the last 3 years and countless seasons at this point.
Yeah, he's getting off to a good start so far, 3 goals.
An offensive zone draw here for Moja and SAWO Esports. Very similar to what we saw in the last game, just with the roles reversed. Frölunda scored, and then it was SAWO tying it up rather quickly as this one's just mistimed. We'll have another face-off coming up here back in the neutral zone.
Yeah, it was a decently timed pass. I think it was the animation at the end of the day where he had to sort of reach back for that and grab it, made it a little slower going over the line.
It happens on the draw again. Eki running that tie up. Flyer Kungan ends up now with Potzloff. Again, that pass in front just picked off. Wanted Eki. Vatu trying to gain the line with a poke check there by Playmaker. He's doing it all tonight.
Yeah, it was just a really good bit. You saw the back check coming in from Frölunda and using the back check to also collapse the puck carrier and force him into a location. Great zone entry.
Zeki again tried to get that one to the point. Loose puck kept in by Flyer Kungan. Great skating shot on Playmaker was there. Just got held up. Wasn't able to find his way to that puck. Thought Eki might be the net front man. It's been Playmaker on the wing, getting into the high danger areas and finding those pucks. Juriska tries to hold this one in. Moja in front. Scramble for the puck. Dangerous situation, Moja. Nearly sweeping that one home. Flyer Kungan, the spin pass for Potzloff. Over now for Playmaker. Has a few options, elects to go back to Loimu. Now Potzloff. Again, he'll send it down low. Flyer Kungan. It was read well by Teemu. It will be SAWO back in possession. Vatu again, unable to hold on to it. Playmaker again, now 3 goals and about 6 periods worth of play. Factor in the overtime as well in game number 1. Eki in possession here as we approach the final minute here in the second and really pressuring that potential breakout for Frölunda. They still find a bit of space. It was a good poke check to send it right back. The puck is dumped in to that far side corner. Dumped right back out and it bounces over the stick of Vatu. Eki the interception. 2 seconds to go. Back in front. They score with 1.1 to go. It is Moja who's able to give SAWO the lead as Sin, the Frölunda defense, kind of fell asleep there for the last 5 to 10 seconds.
Yeah, Vatu was completely undetected up the ice by both Potzloff and Loimu as fortunately for them, like a dump pass out. If that would have been a slap pass through, he would have had all day to make a play on it, but nonetheless, it doesn't matter. SAWO able to kind of get one home off of a bit of a bouncing play right there, but we saw them doing that constantly throughout this game, just kind of getting that puck towards the net, and a lot of precarious bouncing around in front of Kape has been going on, and that time leads to a goal, the go-ahead goal late in the second, and SAWO will take a 2-1 lead here into the third period. Just really, really fortuitous for them at the end.
That is a tough break, but if you are on the SAWO side of things, Sin, maybe you view that. I mean, you get a look at the stats there. They're very much in Frölunda's favor at this point. But, you think back to that second Frölunda goal, and honestly how kind of lucky it was. I think SAWO is going to feel pretty good about themselves here. But yeah, look at that again. Vatu wide open on that counterattack. And it leads again to the defense just being pressured and the puck finding its way to a dangerous area.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it was. It was picked up initially by one of the Frölunda. I think that, yeah, that puck must have went off some skates or something and in with the way they were looking at that replay. And yeah, just pretty nuts right there. But it's a good, not a bad mentality to have if you're SAWO, putting that puck towards the net or into those locations where it's dangerous for the goaltender or dangerous for any player to try to handle. You think back to their goal in the first game that was kind of off of a bounce of an own goal. So not a bad idea.
It is Frölunda here, trailing by 1 yet again. We'll see how they respond. Again, SAWO doing a good job of finding some offense in this one. Here's Eki. Bumped off the puck by Vatu. He took a little bit too much time with it. Time is not something, not a luxury that will be afforded to these offenses, knowing how aggressive both squads happen to be on defenses. Eki trying to hold on to it. Puck kept alive. Playmaker down low. Again, tried to hold it for just a little bit too long. Eki for Flyer Kunga. Nowhere to go. Yerska takes it away. Vatu being pressured. He holds it. Now perhaps a bit of space now with SAWO on the other side. Yerska. See what he can do. The wraparound bid for Vatu. Just doesn't go. Here's puck. Eki having trouble. He's able to settle it down for the moment, but Sin, you kind of talked about Frölunda growing into the game in game number 1. SAWO hitting them with a bit of their own medicine. They've looked better as this game's gone on.
Absolutely, they have, and they're really kind of seeming like they have the advantage now. And like obviously they do on the scoreboard, but in the way the game's being played right now, they're really all over Frölunda. Frölunda doesn't have any time and space, especially in the offensive zone. We've always known SAWO is more of a collapsing team, but they're pressuring those perimeters right now. They don't want to let Frölunda get comfortable.
Bit of a scramble there. I essentially got caught puck watching myself because it's like you never know in those situations who's going to come up with it. There is an icing call here, and perhaps a great opportunity now for SAWO down the other way. Here on this offensive zone draw, hoping to get a look there at the face-off numbers. We do not, but it is another tie-up and a victory for SAWO. Eki's the one who's able to come up with it, though. Playmaker, great job holding the line. Playmaker still holding on to this puck. Flyer Kungan wanted the wraparound. Playmaker wants the wraparounds. And Nike was able to stop him as Yerska trying to dance around Loimu. A lot of trouble there. A lot of men around to pressure, but again, the defense able to play it well. SAWO not able to gain the zone clean on that occasion. Loose puck again recovered by Moja. The more that clock ticks down, the better it is for SAWO. Frölunda really need to press the issue here and get that offense going. What a sauce that is to Playmaker. Tough bounce, though. Tambu can't clear. Flyer Kungan doing perhaps what he does best, winning pucks down low. Playmaker in the corner goes to the point. Potzloff back for Playmaker again. One-timer, he wanted it in front for Flyer Kungan. It wasn't there. Vatu, great job by Potzloff to stop him. Under 6 minutes to play here. This one banked off the back of the net accidentally by Tambu. He's able to recover, turns it over. Shot scores! The deflection. Playmaker has another one. And with 5:25 to go, we are tied at 2 apiece. And he cannot be stopped right now.
That was an unreal deflection moving towards the middle of the ice right there. I mean, there was a tremendous shot coming out from Loimu as well. The awareness just absolutely brilliant. It just throw that one on as he knew Playmaker was getting over there. Moved to the center, got the deflection, and that puck sailed across the body of Nike and into that, I think, glove side corner right there. Tie game, about 5 minutes to go. Getting down to it once again.
What a moment that was. And again, as Sin mentioned, under 5 to play. We are tied at 2. Sin has seen 3 overtime games today. Might we make it 4 for 4 to kick off a new season again on our new day and at least the new start time again for Sundays. Again, Monday and Wednesday, 1945 CET, but it's 1745 on Sundays here in prime time. Again, what a way to kick off this spring season this has been. That's blocked down. Loose puck still bouncing around, and Flyer Kungan has it. And again, for those of you that missed it, yeah, I'm not mistaken. Abu's now former captain, with perhaps his greatest rival still looking for his first goal. As a matter of fact, Playmaker still the only guy for Frölunda to score this season. One-timer rebound. He has another one. There's the hat trick with 55 to go. 3-2 Frölunda. Playmaker's 5th of the season.
What a play right there from Frölunda. Cross-ice one-timer coming out from Flyer Kungen, who puts it on net well enough for a rebound to go straight to, you guessed it, Playmaker right there. It's hard to not believe that that's a set play. You look at how wide Flyer Kungen was there for that rebound opportunity. Shot across the body to that far side. It bounces right to Playmaker here. And a 2-goal swing. SAWO on the ropes with a minute left here. And Playmaker may not be done.
He might not be. Still has it now. Let's see what SAWO can do. Pressure's on. They trail for the first time here in this game. It's Yerska. The 1-T for Tombu. Broken up by Playmaker. Sauce pass intercepted. Scramble for it with 35 to go. The chop fails. Tombu poked away by Playmaker. 30 seconds to go. The dump and chase doesn't work. Teemu having trouble. Loimu at least keeps it back into the neutral zone. Moja again. Playmaker got a piece of it. 17 to go. Puck dumped in, nearly gloved by Kape. Tombu shot. The deflection just wide. Went off the back of the net now. 10 seconds to go. Yerska for Teemu. The shot blocked down. Loimu can't clear. Bouncing around. Who's going to find it? Saved by Kape on Moja. Another shot is stopped. And Frölunda get the win in regulation. How is that as a way to start off our broadcast here in the spring season?
Wow. Just wow. What a flurry of chances for SAWO at the end there. Kape has to make a couple tough saves. Perhaps none tougher than that one off the short side. And then from behind the net, the pass came out front. I think it was Tombu getting that last shot on net. Kape turned it aside as well. But how about that last goal? Another Playmaker goal. He's keeping pace with Leitinen. I think that's 5 in 2 games, as Leitinen had the same. So Playmaker definitely looking to get off to a hot start. Perhaps looking to replicate that one time. What did he get? 70 goals a couple seasons ago, and well, 5 in 2 games is that exact pace. So he's on it right now.
You know, Sid, it's one of those things that I don't want to sit here and start any rumors or speculation, but I did hear Playmaker's name being thrown out there as, I think, one of many people within the community this year where it's like, okay, motivation to play. We all kind of know, NHL 22 has had its issues. Yeah, I see no motivation issues for Playmaker whatsoever. That was as dominant of a two-way performance as I think we've ever seen from him, and I mean, you mentioned it. This is a guy back in ECL 10. He had 58 goals in 30 games with 93 points. He is still and always has been one of the premier players in this division. And this was the showcase to say,
that's so
hey,
dirty.
We're here this season. And I am still an elite player. What a performance for Playmaker.
I think you mean Joe Plivelski. That deflection was absolutely insane. And let's get another look at that game winner here. Beautiful. I'm just going to call it a set play. Flyer Kungen we've seen him do that. We saw him do that on Havu a lot, taking those really, really wide one-timers there from the end walls. And he's a crafty player. And he's a guy, as you obviously can tell, he doesn't care how his team gets goals, whether he's the one scoring or someone else. But he's got himself, I think, at least 3 or 4 assists in this 2-game set here. Look at how close that was to going in as well. Gee, I mean, it's a game of inches, and this is in the final seconds here. Looks like Potsloff is hugging one of his teammates.
He has the reverse VH in the center of his crease and still makes the save.
Wow.
Oh, God. Just the outright VH. What a game that was, Sin. I mean, man, what a way to start this new season. Back and forth between two of the division's heaviest hitters. But it is, again, ultimately Playmaker who's able to help lead the way and get the job done. But, man, what a game that was. The incredible back and forth is, again, you get a look at the highlights here from down the stretch. And again, Playmaker constantly finding himself in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, that was a pinball goal right there. I think two Sabo defenders' legs before finding its way to Playmaker's stick here, and that one right there is just kind of the same sort of thing, just throwing it towards this middle, someone to get a stick on it, maybe hit a leg and go in, and it finds its way in, and just a tremendous couple games set for Frölunda. The way they wanted to start off, 4 out of 4 points. Sabo only walking home with the 1 point, and got to feel like they got to be kicking themselves after that one. You have a lead going, in that third period, and not only do you give up that lead, but you give up the game-winning goal with less, about a minute left, in the game. That's just, it's tough for it to have happen, but that's what can happen against a team like Frölunda. That's why you got to capitalize on those chances. You think back to the game one, 0-for-3 on the power play. You lose 2-1 in overtime. A point's a point, sure, but at the same time, you got to feel like it got away from you. You get another great goaltending performance from Nikke out of the first period in this one. You have the advantage for a lot of the game, but you let it go at the very end, and it spells your doom.
So again, incredible games to kick off this new season. Of course, ECL 22, the spring season that we have here. It's going to be a very interesting 2-month ride. We hope you join us for it. Of course, we will be here every Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday. So, of course, tomorrow, the action that is on deck. Make sure you're here for this. It is Roots Gaming taking on Conquer Gaming. And, of course, we'll see the season starter, the season opener for Färjestad and ZSC Esports as well. All 4 of these teams in a very interesting spots for different reasons. And of course, we'll break all of that down when we get to the broadcast again a little bit later than it was today, 1945 CEST. But again, every Sunday is that slightly earlier start. And of course, every Tuesday as well, we also have our Pro Division coverage. Again, we love to shine a spotlight on our second tier. And I will get clarification there. And yeah, as far as I know, we will see the double header for Hana HC as they will take on, and again, don't shoot the messenger on this name like that, but it's one of the clubs we haven't covered yet. It is SKA though on the other side of the thing, or it might just be Pasalan Ska. We'll find out. Almtuna Esport there as well on the far side of things. So Sin, again, it will shape up to be King Lime and Mr. B Major on the call for that one. Very much looking forward to seeing what happens in the Pro Division this year. Again, every year we have at least one club come up from Pro. Of course, this year it was Yippee Voskala as defending Pro champions, and Stargazing also making their way up as well. So always like to shine a spotlight on the Pro Division. Of course, sportsgamer.gg is the place to follow along with everything that we have going on under the ECL umbrella. Of course, it is not just the Elite Division. Sin, we'll be back here tomorrow. What a way this was to start things off. Unfortunately, again, I wasn't able to be here to cover that first series, but just your closing thoughts on what was, again, another great day for the ECL Elite Division.
Yeah, I mean, these are our featured matchups, the primetime matchups for a reason. You saw it between Goons and Havu, 2 overtime games, and you saw a standout in Lightning here for Frölunda SAWO, 2 teams that we expect to be at the top of the standings here. You saw an overtime game and a 3-2 game with a goal in the last minute, and Playmaker, the star of the show here. So this season getting off to a great start here, and two just incredible matchups between 4 of these great teams of the CCL Elite Division.
Again, we'll see you all tomorrow, 1945 CEST start time, sportsgamer.gg for all the information that you need. Again, a big shout out one more time, Wilhelm Koval and Lakritzi and ST Hockey. Catch Sin on Twitter at Sin for the Win Prod. He's on YouTube. He's on Instagram. Find him everywhere. He's a man of the people. I'm everywhere at Tugi24, and we will see you guys tomorrow.